My special guest to my immediate left is Dr. Maya Bass. Dr. Bass has been with us before, so welcome again. Good morning.
Thank you.
And to my far left, Brittany Juliano. Is that close?
Giuliano, yes.
Yeah, all right.
It's Italian.
Yeah, so we just know her as Brittany, and we stop right there, but it's important to have both names. And Brittany's been a return guest as well, and we thought since school's on everybody's mind, we've got to figure out how to get ready for school. Back in the olden days, when I went to school, all I had to do was get a Big Chief tablet, the big Chief tablet. That dates me, that's a long time ago. Do you even know what a Big Chief tablet is?
No idea.
Okay.
Sorry. It's like
It's just a big notebook, and there was a big Indian chief on the cover. It was called Big Chief. See, we have history lessons here, too. But anyway, it was so simple. You just kind of showed up and went to school. But now you got to have shots, you got to have this, you got to have that. So we're going to talk about Feed the Neighborhood, but we're also going to talk with Dr. Bass right off the bat about immunization requirements. We will talk specifically the shots that you got to have here in just a few moments. But for a child entering school, what's the immunization process, if you will? What do they got to do?
Yeah, so before you enter school, you have to make sure that your child is up to date on their immunizations. It's a really good idea to check in with your doctor to make sure that's happening. So either you have to have completed all the required immunizations, or you have to have an exemption form. And otherwise, you're not allowed to have the kids start school.
So Dr. Bass, I'm a parent, and I have no clue what vaccines I'm supposed to have for my son or daughter. What are the vaccines that's required? And is it different in each state, by the way?
It's actually pretty similar in each state at this point.
Okay.
There's a little difference between required and recommended, but at this point, almost all states are requiring the same vaccinations.
And those shots are?
Those shots are, so you need to have the MMR, which is against measles, mumps, and rubella, the DTaP, which is against diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis, the polio vaccine, the hepatitis A and B, and the varicella or the chickenpox shot. And all of those are required before they can even go into pre-K or into kindergarten. And then they actually do boosters around 7th grade, which is another booster of the tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis shot. And it's also required for them to get a meningococcal or the shot against meningitis.
Yeah. So remember the old days, you just showed up, brought your Big Chief tablet and a pencil. Now you got a laundry list of things to do. Well, as you're familiar with, Feed the Neighborhood has been around for 18 years, and it is one of the highlights of the community. And we're just thrilled to have Brittany with us, the director of the program. And I think Brittany would say that she has grown up with the program, if you will. Yeah. Feed the Neighborhood will be this coming Sunday. For those that have heard about it, Brittany, what is Feed the Neighborhood all about?
Yeah, so Feed the Neighborhood, it's an annual event. So like you said, we've had it for 18 years. And
Impressive.
So, it's pretty exciting. And so it's a back-to-school event, and so it's really geared towards helping elementary and middle school students have the necessary school supplies to start the first day of school prepared and ready to go. And so at the event this year, we get to pass out 2,000 backpacks filled with basic school supplies for students in need here in Enid. And so we also do sock and underwear vouchers, $8 worth to Walmart so that they can buy new socks and underwear. And then we also have a local nonprofit called Foster Feet coming out to hand out free shoes for the students. And man, we have food, we have games, inflatables, face painting. We have different vendors from the community coming out to offer services, do giveaways, and free haircuts for the students. So it's really exciting. We're excited for it.
You're at, and I should have said this at the beginning, at the Great Salt Plains Health Center.
Yeah.
What is your role as a doctor, and also for the Great Salt Health Plains? Do you provide this service where kids and parents can show up and get those shots? If they say, well, we don't have a doctor, I don't know where a hospital is, how does that work? Can they come see you?
Oh, definitely. They can come out to Great Salt Plains Health Center and see any one of our providers. It's a really good time to establish care with a medical provider. That way you're not just getting those shots to be ready for school, but also doing a full well child exam, which is where we make sure that the kid's growing appropriately, that there's no issues in their development. And it's a really good time to just check in and make sure your kid's as healthy as they need to be before starting school, and they're getting up to date on all their shots.
If you're watching us this morning and Dr. Bass looks extremely familiar to you, besides the fact she's been on the show a couple times, she happens to be plastered if I can say that word, on a billboard as you go east on Highway 412. You look up to the right, well, there's Dr. Bass, and just wave at her as you're leaving Enid. So where is your office? Because it's close to where the billboard is.
Right, it's the next right after the billboard. We're right on South 30th Street, 231 South 30th Street, and yeah, the hours are up on the screen right now, and we'd love to see your whole family. We see kids and adults, and we really do appreciate being able to get your kids ready for school.
Let's go back to the feed the neighborhood topic for a moment, Brittany. You talked about 2,000 backpacks, and they're filled with school supplies. How does that happen?
Yeah, so we obviously couldn't do this without the help and support of the Enid community. One part that I love about being a part of this community is people love to come together, not just businesses, but it's churches, individuals, families, and so this is all funded completely by the Enid community. And so we're just really grateful, and obviously 2,000 backpacks and this whole event costs a lot of money, and so this year it has been completely funded by the community, every year for 18 years by the community. So.
And so there's hot dogs involved. I mean, I guess someone's watching the program, and again, we're going to replay our interview this morning at 11:30 and at 5:30 and 8:30 this evening. So if you know someone who needs to watch this program, please tell them of those times on Channel 12 and 112. So there's hot dogs involved, but how does a family know that this event, Feed the Neighborhood, is for them?
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy because here in Enid, we have, from what statistics were a couple years ago, 72% of students in the Enid Public Schools are on free and reduced lunch, which is a very large number. And so if a family is in need, can't afford the school supplies, or can't afford a haircut, can't afford socks and underwear, we just encourage them to come on out, because this is strictly for those who need that financial help to give their kids everything they need for the first day of school.
So let's talk a little bit about the location. We know it's at David Allen Ballpark, and again, with people new to the community, they said, well, okay, I've heard of the ballpark, where's it at?
Yeah.
So what are the specifics?
Right.
We know it's 5 to 8 p.m., but where do people need to go?
Yeah.
Where do they need to park?
Yeah.
And folks are going to know I drink a lot of coffee because I'm going to have to take a sip here.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, so we actually have two locations. So it's Central National Bank Center and David Allen Memorial Ballpark. And so we've done it for so many years at Government Springs Park, but it's just so hot in August, as you know. And so we moved it to where they can wait in line indoors. So we hand out the backpacks at Central National Bank Center. So if they want to come, they go into the main entrance of the Central National Bank Center. We encourage people always to come a little bit early because it's first come, first serve.
Okay.
So when we run out, we run out. And so, but yeah, so they can come into the Central National Bank Center, and then after that, we have all of our fun festivities out at the ballpark, food for the whole family. So we encourage not just the kids to come, but the whole family.
Dr. Bass, where our focus this morning really is on, I guess, grade school children, but a lot of folks are going to college.
Yeah.
How about those kids? How about those students, I should say?
Yeah, so they need to make sure that they have all the vaccines that we've already talked about today. But before going off to college, we actually really recommend getting a second meningitis booster. Usually we start offering it around age 16, and I highly, highly recommend. It's not required, but I think it's really important for all kids. We can start offering it at their 7th grade appointment to get the HPV vaccine, the one that protects people against cervical and rectal cancer. So definitely before going to college, you want to get that HPV vaccine, and especially because, you know, after 18, some kids don't have insurance as easily available, and so it's nice to get all your vaccines up and done before that even becomes a concern.
I think it's often we forget about college age students and the importance to keep everything valid and up to date and all.